What is a really inappropriate question you would like an answer to? I am not a native English speaker, so that might help you understand why I ask such a stupid thing. What the heck do you say when you are using the bathroom and someone knocks on the door? Occupied or I'm in here? What does it feel like to have a penis? I've always been wondering about this. Does it feel different under certain circumstances? How does it feel getting an erection? And how does sex and orgasming feel like? And how do Weil's balls work? Like, how do they move and act and are connected to body and penis? Can you tuck the penis under the balls? And if yes, how? I've always wondered, like, do deaf people have a voice in their head? You know when you read something to yourself how you can hear your own voice like you probably are right now? I wonder if deaf people have that same thing or not because they can't hear? I can answer this. My ex was deaf from birth. He said it's like text or hand signing. No voice. How much TP do you use? I realize it differs depending on what has come out, but I feel like I use a lot compared to others. Oddly, I've had this conversation before and it depends on the brand for one thing. I lived in the US and I used 8 sheets. Don't ask me why I know this. Someone else in my house said they used 10. But while talking to some UK people they said they all used 4 or 5 and we realized this is because TP in the UK is thick, lol, even the off-brand crap is way better than the US. When you take a crap, do you sometimes accidentally cut it short and it feels like there's a bit left in there but you just haven't got the power to push it out? Inappropriate race question. Why do black people in America have names that are so different? In the UK black people were named like Bob or Michael or Carl, and in America they're named Dakan or Ludoni or Ration. Is it because they wanted to choose their own names and be nothing alike white people when slavery was ended? Was it because they didn't even have names? I'm sure there's lots of black Americans who are named like Robert or so, but I've never come across a black person in the UK with a name so dissimilar from the white people. In the UK Bob Smith could be either black or white. No offense intended to anyone, I'm just curious. When multiple ladies go to the bathroom together, is there a code of conduct as to what can and can't be discussed or done? Like no desist or bus rules. There are actually fewer rules about what can be discussed in the bathroom than in public. Also, you will never find anyone more supportive, kind, encouraging, and selfless than drunk girls in a bathroom. We're talking total strangers here. They will hold your hair while you puke, tell you how much they love your outfit, how much they love you, that you're way too good for that butthole, etc. This is a very specific one for me. I'm from Northern Ireland, and there was a conflict here called the Troubles. My question is to those who joined paramilitaries, both sides, loyalist and Republican. Why exactly did you join and how you now feel about all the things you've done? Is there much variety in the taste of different people's vaginas as there is when some people talk about taste of CM? Like, different acidities, maybe sweetness, saltiness, depending on eating habits and whatnot. Yes, it varies from person to person and also the taste of a person varies somewhat according to a few factors. How much they are turned on, hygiene, etc. Does anyone feel better or care at all when they see a random YouTube comment saying generic positive crap like whoever reads this, you are special and amazing and I love you or whatever? Like, I appreciate positive vibes but positivity rings totally hollow for me in a shotgun approach. I'm always hesitant to ask because I don't want to come off as a grouch. Same, doesn't resonate with me at all. If anything, I get petty and spiteful, lol. In the movie mid-90s, one of the white kids asks the black kid if black people have to wear sunscreen. The black kid says that is the stupidest question he has ever heard and everyone laughs, but he never answered. And I'm here wondering if black people need to or how bad they get it if they don't. Yes, they do, and that is why when we get skin cancer, we get bad. Do you shave your pubic hair? Have you always, or is it something new? And if so, why? Almost all you see in P is bare hooch and even many of the moms at the pool seem to be bare down there. Granted, I'm out of the race now, but I only encountered one in my seemingly average sample size of partners and I just am always curious about this. I did when younger because I wore bathing suits more and had gym class and didn't want strangers and classmates seeing hair. but stubble tends to scratch against clothing and is uncomfortable to me. Plus you can get irritation and ingrown hairs. Now I just keep it shortish. Is it inappropriate when your doctor insists on having his nurse take your temperature rectally, rather than orally? To refuse, it seems to be embarrassing for both the nurse and patient, even if the reading is, according to the doctor, more accurate. You can refuse any medical thing you want as long as you're of sound mind etc. Does anyone with trauma mental pain ever feel like telling everyone about what happened because of how crushing it is inside? Yes, sometimes it's hard because it's consuming me and I feel like I have to open up to someone just to prevent it from boiling over into spiraling depression again. Usually I don't want to burden anyone with it though, so I just deal with it unfortunately. Period. How much blood are we talking about? For how many days? What do you guys do when it happens? And how can you track it? If depicting the Prophet Muhammad is offensive to Islam and Muslims, why is it okay to name a person Muhammad? I'm not trying to get into a religious debate. I'm genuinely curious. Did boobs have growing pains? Yes. Hugging hurts while that's going on. When a man ejaculates, does it feel the same as peeing? Women have a vagina separate from the urethra, but men only have the urethra for both functions, so I've always wondered if it feels the same. Napping is like water down a stream. Ejaculating is like a pump. Some people of Indian descent have a very distinctive smell, reminding me of cumin. Would it be their delicious food that's affecting their sweat, or simply food smell stuck to their clothes hairs? A couple Indian co-workers, back before home office conditions, would arrive in the morning and you can smell them clearly as they pass behind you, before you see it's them. So I'm thinking it's their BO that has that coming spicy smell to it to be so noticeable even in the morning. According to Japanese people, white people smell like off milk lol. What's it like to kill someone, especially as a soldier in a war? If it changes you, how so? If it didn't, how do that make you feel? It freaking sucks. Didn't bother me much at first but knocked me on my butt a few years later. Now every time a friend dies, I feel guilty for putting other people through the pain I am seeing in my friends and family. I about lost it when a friend's 16-year-old son died. I saw how the family and friends were devastated and know that I caused something similar to happen. In case folks want to post more such questions or want to see responses for similar questions, head over to Are Too Afraid to Ask. Also, Arna Stupid Questions. Am I the only one who makes a story in his head where you're having adventures and SMTH? I have that for 5 years I think, and after years past it's almost a whole universe with many characters. I've really never spoke about it with anybody. It's happening every freaking day. Even when I'm with my friends I imagine that I'm the guy from the different universe who is speaking with his friends. All characters who are in this universe are characters from actual series, movies, games, animes etc. I'm not a loser or something, I'm really social, but it's just so much fun making these stories. Is this weird or am I the really creative one? I really hope I'm not the only one here. BTW, sorry, English is not my native language. Google maladaptive daydreaming. You might be amazed. Where do I look, or the person I'm speaking to has a lazy eye? I tend to focus on the eye looking at me, but sometimes I wonder if I should be trying to look at both. Look at their good eye, or the middle of their forward. Trying to follow their poor eye is just awkward. Mine are more odd than inappropriate, but something I have been afraid to ask for years. These are all due to a medical issue from childhood, so I've never known any better. 1. What is it like to smell? Like I can pick up densities of different items like sulfur versus burning rubber, but it's a wide margin I can guess what something is. 2. How does depth perception affect you? I cannot see well out of my left eye, so I can't watch 3D movies and the like. No glasses don't help. It's brain damage. 3. What do higher and lower frequencies of sound feel like? Even in high school I could not hear those high-pitched ringtones, and I cannot hear an engine knock on a car if that gives you my limit. 4. Why do people think that if they cannot see your handicap that you must be messed up and not normal? I am mentally 3 years slower than my body, and because of such people take it as immaturity and just hold everything I did as if I was in the right state of mind. All of these are due to brain damage when I was less than a year old. I just felt uncomfortable asking these to people who know me. I just feel like I may be judged for it. I don't know if it's exactly inappropriate, but I've been ashamed to say it basically. Anyways, how do you flirt? What even is it? Can you give me an example? This might seem like a stupid question, but to me I've never ever attempted to flirt. But sometimes it seems like I am flirting, I just don't ever realize it until after. I just don't get it, but I should sooner rather than later. Do guys not go down on girls that often? I go down about 90% of the time, but girls have told me that it doesn't happen a lot. I just always thought every guy did it. Is this on average, or just my small sample size of friends? My co-worker says eating a girl's vagina is disgusting, but he loves eating butt, so I have no clue what people are all about. People without an internal dialogue. Do you suffer with mental health problems? Can you explain what it's like to not have the ability to talk to yourself inside your head? I would pay goddamned money to not have to listen to my dumb butt all day. For women who practice extended breastfeeding, for the sake of my question, let's say beyond 4 years old, is there an age where you would think it was no longer appropriate? I should say that I am a huge proponent of breastfeeding. I have 3 children and nursed each of them until they self-weaned at 18 months. I don't judge someone who decides to nurse for as long as they see fit. However, I see a lot of posts from women who feel very strongly about nursing their 5-year-olds, and they always mention that they will wean whenever the child wants, and that it's perfectly normal. I've always been curious whether for those women, they would feel like it was no longer appropriate at a certain point, and if so, what is that point? My aunt believed my cousin should wean himself off of breastfeeding. She ended up deciding she had to make that decision for him when, at the age of 7, he struck out during a little league game. This stressed him out, so he went up to her in the stands and started pulling at her shirt for some comfort. I have big boobs, so I am familiar with the inconveniences. Badly fitting bras, accidentally knocking things over with them, stuff I literally can't do because they get in the way, etc. Then I thought the other day about if it's the same for guys with big dongs. Like, what unexpected inconveniences are there? Do you have to fold, curl it up or something to put it in snug undies? Is it hard to find pants that don't squash it? Does it knock things over? I want to know. I have a question to all men. From a man. When I go to a bathroom at work or public, I hear you in the stall next to me. I hear you flush your toilet, buckle up, and just leave the stall. I hear you not washing your hands. Why? I wash my hands so often because having dirty hands is so disgusting. Why are you insisting that you rub your crotch germs all over everything else you touch? Just why? Please tell me why. Often wondered that too. At least at work I know whose hand to shake and who to avoid. I was sexually molested by my neighbor, who was 30 when I was 11, but I remember enjoying it and I didn't want him to stop. I haven't told anyone yet and I'm not sure whether to keep it between us because I'm gay and my community is very homophobic, or speak out since he did have sex with a minor is a crime and he could have had more victims who didn't enjoy it. Maybe not so inappropriate, but we've all heard of the stereotype of guys with huge lifted trucks and loud exhausts having tiny dongs and their trucks are used to compensate in some way. I'm curious as to where this began and if there is enough data to actually support this. It's such a funny idea. I get people being transgender. I understand that you can feel as though you don't fit the gender you were born with, but can someone explain non-binary to me? How does a person not identify as anything? Or is it not nothing but something other? It's a pretty sensitive subject and I've been pretty afraid to ask, especially on Reddit. Frickin' appropriate question. Why don't my parents just understand that I fricking hate cilantro? No matter how many fricking times I try it, it will always taste like fricking soap. They will put it in salsa to trick me and be like, oh, you like the salsa when there was cilantro in it, so you must like cilantro. Like, no, I don't eat the salsa cause I can fricking taste it. Why are my boobs suddenly bigger but I have gained no weight at all? Hormones. They like to do things. Can you puncture the inside of your butthole with a dildo? Very nervous about bottoming even though it's something I want and that thought gets me anxious as heck lol. Yes. Go slow. Be gentle. Be careful. Use more lube than you think you need. Am I allowed to say black when describing a person? Like if there are 3 people all have dark hair, dark eyes, wearing black and the only way to distinguish easy is the black fellow over there is in who do I give my ticket to? I feel uncomfortable saying African American. My step parent is Jamaican and not African American and it offends her when people say that. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.